I'll say it'll take 2 minutes, under 2 minutes, for a Charger fan to jump in here and blame Gilberto. But all right, we are back with another edition of Lunes Live Jam Packed. Your favorite Compas got you covered with our NFL 4 takeaways. We'll break down the games from the LA teams and go around the NFL to talk about our top storylines that include 3 rookies going 3-0 on Sunday. All right, Gilberto, don't you have a question for our viewers and or listeners?
I do, but maybe blame your tackles and your quarterback can't make a pass and he's throwing helmets around. It's not me. So, anyways, engagement question. You got me going. You get my blood boiling, and then this is what happened. To quote the great Dan and Diego. Yes, Palamont. I see the comment there from Chile. But for the engagement question of the week, I'm just trolling. Are the running backs becoming a thing again? The running backs are becoming stars again. Remember, we forgot about them because we're all paying the quarterbacks. Here you go, Trevor Lawrence. Here you go, a bunch of money for Jordan Love, a bunch of money for Jared Goff, a bunch of money for Tua Tagovailoa, a bunch of money. How about the running backs? Derrick Henry, I'm sure, making a fraction of these contracts and went off on the Buffalo Bills, 199 rushing yards. So how about that? Star running backs. Is that the thing nowadays? Maybe they should have paid a Saquon Barkley. Maybe should have paid a Josh Jacobs. Should have paid a Derrick Henry. I want to have a nice conversation later on for my takeaways about the return of the running backs. Let me know in the comments if you agree.
Some teams even have running backs at quarterbacks, according to my brother.
That could be a part of the conversation too. Star running backs / quarterbacks are making a comeback.
All right, let's go with the intro.
Compas on the beat. Let's get it. Let's go.
Yeah. So we're Compas.
Yeah, we are.
There you go.
Hey. There you go. Okay, all right. We got proof right there.
Some guy that seems like he's asleep. Need you to wake up, Gilbert. There's a lot of energy.
Come on, Gilbert. Let's go.
Come on. Dan and Diego is at Moe's.
I'll show you. I'll show you. I got it right.
Okay, that's it. You guys, I am done with mine, but that's couldn't get better than a 2026 6th-round pick swap for a 7th-rounder. So
freaking love you, Chad.
Hey, dude. Too, man.
Compas on the beat, man. Derwin James signing off, man. Watch Compas on the beat, man.
Welcome to Compas on the Beat. I'm Fernando Ramirez. I cover the Chargers for the Sporting Tribune. With me, as always, my co-host, my tag team partner, Gilbert Manzano, covers the NFL for Sports Illustrated. What's up, bro?
Does Derwin James come back? Is he finally been freed? Hopefully we don't have Dan with a sign for the whole week saying free Derwin James. But
he had it all week and even on Sunday. And oh wait, no, I'm kidding.
And not today. But, yeah, hopefully he comes back after the bye week. I just remember it was the bye week. But I am doing well, Fernando. And another, you know what? Good week of football because I finally picked a few upsets right. I got the Denver Broncos correct. The only person at SI.com.
Did you really pick the Broncos?
Yeah.
Why?
Crap. I mean, they beat the Patriots, and who cares? And just also like there's a lot of like upsets, and I'm like, you know what? I don't care. And I think I went with 10 underdogs for my picks in week 4, Fernando, and through Sunday.
It was an accidental click.
I just said F it, to be honest. There wasn't a lot of thought to it. And I think into Sunday Night Football, I was 10-3, and then the stupid Bills screwed me over. I could have been 11-3. But tonight I have the Titans. No, I got the Dolphins. I don't know why. And then the Seahawks for the F of it.
You have the Dolphins? Oh, no, you don't touch the Seahawks. Leave them alone.
Well, they're underdogs, so that's why I chose them. But yeah, maybe there you go. If I announce my picks on live YouTube here, maybe that's where I do get the jinx or the curse.
Yeah. No, there is. Well, I don't know about that. But all right, let's get into it. By the way, this is funny. The curse lives on your.
I don't know, Angel. This is the way you Chargers fans think. It's always somebody else's fault. You don't look in the mirror. Maybe it's your fault. You know what? You know who's taking the blame? Justin Herbert, because he's throwing helmets around. He's finally pissed off. Okay, I like to see it sometimes. Get fired up when things don't go your way.
So the Chargers lost 17-10 against Kansas City. I'll get your thoughts quick thing. I actually thought they were gonna get I didn't think blown out, but I thought it would be I think I said 28 to 14, something like that. Jesse Minter, hell of a job. I mean, I know Patrick Mahomes took out his own receiver, but I'm definitely I was definitely really impressed with the way the defense kind of hunkered down. but yeah, Jesse's something else. And this is what I was telling Eric and Dante on the ride home yesterday. If the one thing you have to fix is your offense, I mean, that's kind of a good thing. Before it was, well, you have to fix your offense and your defense, and you have to fix your special teams. Now it feels like they just need to fix the offense, which, I mean, having a quarterback like that is not, it's easier said than done. I just feel like they need some playmakers on that side. But just going back to it, I thought they really kind of threw Mahomes off at times. At the end, they just got gassed. They were on the field way too long. It was just way too much. But I definitely give a lot of credit to Jesse Minter and his scheme. They've held these guys at 17 points. They held Pittsburgh to 20. They held Carolina, whatever. They held the Raiders down to 10. So definitely an impressive start for them. And I cannot believe the Mets and the Braves are about to drink when they have to play games tomorrow. Jeez. My bad. I'm on baseball mode. But Gilbert, I really was impressed with it. Now on the offensive side, is it bad that I kind of liked is it kind of bad that I like Justin Herbert throwing his helmet?
That's what I'm saying. I don't mind.
What it showed me, and I was talking about this with Eric on the way home, what it showed me and him is that not only does he care, but he believes that they were better than the Chiefs yesterday. They believe that they can hang with the Chiefs and they could beat the Chiefs. And it was just a level of frustration that things just weren't going their way. But it's crazy to see that that they were able to hang with Kansas City and they were right there at the end. But obviously the offensive line is a struggle. They have no pass catchers that can really keep anything going consistently, which is worrisome. Joshua Palmer kind of had that 126-yard catch, and then he had the one on third down. But other than that, he really didn't do anything. So there's a lot of worrisome things around this team, but it's on the offensive side. On the defensive side, I thought they were pretty impressive. Except for that one, Christian Fulton gave up that touchdown on Xavier Worthy. But other than that, I actually thought they were quite impressive on that side.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised. I did pick the Chiefs, but I did pick the Chargers to cover. I think it was like a 7.5-point spread there, and obviously it was a 7-point game, so they did cover. But I gotta say I am very impressed with the defense.
Pete Rose died. No,
oh, really? Before the Hall of Fame? Wow,
that's a shame.
That sucks. And then now betting on baseball is okay. Well, I guess if you're not part of baseball, but he was 83. Damn, that sucks. But yeah, going back to the defense on the Chargers side, I am very impressed with the quick results because, like I mentioned at the start of the show, there was no Derwin James, so to do that without Derwin also, and then no Joey Bosa, right? I keep losing track.
No, Joey was not.
He's rarely available. So that tells you when you have a lack of talent on the field, you have a good scheme and guys are able to learn it or grasp it very quickly. You have a good game plan for the week. You know how to play a certain quarterback. Okay, this is what they do. This is what they don't like to do. So that's all good coaching right there. And that's one thing that was hard to see with the Brandon Staley era. You never there was talent, but you never got the good scheme, the good game plan, or the good comprehension of grasping that scheme there that got too complicated at times. So that's good to see on that front. For a turn to negative town, it still feels like they're ways away from the Chiefs because the Chiefs, let's face it, they also weren't at their best. They did not have Pacheco. Like you mentioned, Mahomes lost Rashee Rice right away. So sometimes when you have a game that you're on the road and you just got to win out and you're probably falling behind 10 points, it's ugly. You kind of don't really care about these regular season games. You still find ways to win. So eventually the Chargers have to get to that point. That's something Jim Harbaugh has to do. I expect more from Justin Herbert, who's making $50 million per year. He missed half his throws. I get that he doesn't have his tackles. He has a young skill player group, but you got to do more. And that's why I like him getting pissed off and throwing the helmet because he expects more for himself. The standard is very high. So I'm sure he was mad at himself too a little bit. I know he was a little annoyed with some of the offensive linemen too, but the offense should be better at this point. That is Jim Harbaugh's bread and butter, right? Greg Roman. So I wanted to see a little more. And, the first two victories, sure, Raiders and the Panthers, but when you had the Steelers and the Chiefs, but they still had Gardner Minshew there. But I'm just saying they felt a little fraudulent the first 2 weeks, and now you have an opportunity to beat the Steelers and the Chiefs, and you go 0-2. So now you're 2-2 into the bye week. I guess Fernando, maybe I could toss the conversation back to you. Do you feel like they are a playoff team? Does it feel like better than Staley, and that's good? Or that's where I'm going towards. But they had 2 games to actually make some noise, and they didn't do it.
They're still they're still way better. No, there's just nothing compared to Staley's defense or Staley's team in
Okay,
general.
well, I'm just trying to find a line where, like, does it feel like a playoff team, or they're a little below that?
No, I feel like they're right where they need to be. I actually thought at this point they'd be 2-2. So I mean, it just I guess the reason why it looks so weird is just because they had a chance. I thought they had a better chance to beat the Chiefs than they had a better chance of beating the Steelers. The only thing is that they do need to make a trade for an offensive playmaker. Like you don't have anything. Like Amari Cooper right now is getting paid $900,000. That's basically Cleveland saying, "Yeah, we're willing to trade this guy."
He keeps
I
dropping
just
the
don't know
ball.
if
Maybe
Cleveland
he's
would
doing it
be-
on purpose.
Well, but I don't know if Cleveland would trade him to the Chargers because they still play the Chargers in a couple of weeks. So, but they need a playmaker on, and DJ Chark's coming back. I don't even know if that's going to be anything of relevance, or if it's the only thing that's going to help is put another body out there for Quentin Johnston to kind of maybe hide behind and be able to make some of those plays that he's been making. Ladd McConkey, I actually think, is a really good receiver. I actually think he's one of those better weapons that'll maybe help him. But they need they need a number 1 or maybe even they don't have a number 2 right now. They don't have a number 1 clearly.
They have 3 number 3s or 2 number 3s.
Yeah, I think they have 3 number 3s. I'm telling you, if you had, I mean, in a sense, like Keenan Allen and that's the problem, and that's what I was saying last night. We can't go back to it's Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, but if you had 2 competent starting receivers that could give them 70 to 80 yards a game, Ladd McConkey behind them would be great. But that's the problem. And then obviously the offensive line, you don't have Joe Alt, you don't have Rashawn Slater, so that hurts. By the way, going back to somebody's comment, I don't know if like this is directed at us, Uncle Jam's Army, but I never criticized Joey for that because I knew exactly what Joey was calling out because I asked him about it.
Yeah, not on this show. I don't think we've ever said anything.
No, because we knew Joey was the one that like basically told us like, "Hey, watch Jawan Taylor." That was the thing. He was like, and this was somebody within the Chargers told us that the Chargers sent that to the league and said, "Watch Jawan Taylor. That guy lines up off sides. He does this. He does that." And the NFL didn't listen, and they didn't call it in that game. So, by the way, there was an illegal formation yesterday on the called. It was on the Chargers though, not on the other side. So I thought that was pretty. I saw Jawan on a couple of those, and I'm like, you're a little bit off, but they ain't gonna call that. But
sound like Tony Romo there.
But I did. Huh?
Oh, Jim.
Oh yeah, exactly. But at the end of the day, they just need to get better. They need this bye week. I think Harbaugh's still making them practice on Wednesday. So I thought that was pretty interesting. You know how most coaches just say, "Oh, get away, don't do anything stupid." Jim's like, "No, we're practicing Wednesday." So
2-game losing streak, you better practice.
Yeah. So and then they come back and it's pretty favorable. I mean, you play you go to Denver, that's going to be a little bit tough. But then you go to Arizona, your Cardinals aren't doing all that hot. They haven't been able to keep up with anybody. Then
the Denver's not a gimme though, by the way. Maybe
no, that's why I said Denver's going to be tough. Their defense is tough. Their offense might be crap, but their defense is tough.
It kind of looks like a Chargers, I guess, game plan, or I guess a team.
No, but okay, see, that's another thing that I heard. Somebody said that yesterday, and I'm like, I get it. Like everybody wants to just pile on 10 and kind of say that a lot of it is on him, but it's not. I mean, guys just aren't getting like that. That's what I noticed from him yesterday. He in some of those, he would like the J.K. Dobbins one. He tried to lead J.K. and J.K. couldn't get. Well, he dropped the ball, and he wasn't too happy in the locker room. By the way, when he was asked about that, about that play, but it's just one of those things where I do feel like they need to help him out more. And there was a conversation in the locker room that I heard where somebody told him, "We're sorry, we're gonna do better by you."
Well, like a Cortland Sutton on the Chargers will be for sure much better improvement.
No, I think Cortland Sutton's the same as Lawrence, a DJ Chark.
Get out of here. Cortland Sutton is better than anything on the Chargers right now. He is
Cortland-
not. He's a number 2. I'll to give you that.
They are getting drunk. Jesus.
But yeah, we should probably move on soon. But yeah, before we disagree.
No, but Cortland Sutton's always injured. Just wait. It's coming.
Fine, but I'm just saying he's helping Bo Nix, and then he's not. Bo Nix is not just on Herbert, obviously. But when you have a little more help there, which I feel like they kind of do, or the scheme's a little better, the structure's a little better. But something like that, if you have a Sutton, I think somebody who's veteran presence and knows how to make catches like that or be reliable in the red zone will help out. But I know you're saying you want to start number 1, but they're not easy to find out there. I'm just saying you get like a solid number 2, maybe it could be enough for a playoff spot this year before you spend money for a big number 1 next year.
Dolphins running back Jeff Wilson suffered a knee injury in pregame warmups and is now questionable for tonight's game. My thing, though, is, and maybe we overlook this aspect of it, and we've said it, Jim Harbaugh's never had a quarterback like this guy.
Not using him right?
Huh?
Not using him right, maybe?
What if they don't know how to use him? That's kind of the thing. Like, and I'm not gonna. I'm just a reporter. I'm not gonna question anybody's football mind, but you kind of want to get this guy weapons. I mean, get him some. Like Brady had Gronk, Brady had Gronk and crappy receivers around until they got Edelman. Mahomes has had crappy receivers around him, but he had Travis Kelce. You got to get this dude something to kind of be able to have a number 1 to kind of to have a go-to guy. He doesn't have a go-to guy, so that's where they're going to end up struggling. But all right, let's go over to the Rams, who lost to the Bears. I was surprised. I didn't really watch a lot of this game.
You didn't miss much.
Okay, so Caleb played well, or it was kind of no.
No, Caleb Williams, the Bears should have won probably by a lot more because Caleb Williams missed a lot of throws early in the game. I caught a good amount of the first half, and check out House of Horns for more in depth because Victor, watched that game very closely. But the ones that I caught, obviously red zone, and when they went to the red zone, Caleb Williams missed a lot of throws with DJ Moore, Roman Dunzier, so they turned touchdown opportunities into field goals, so they kept them in the game for the Rams. And then Sean McVay, who we all like to praise a lot, had some blunders in the red zone, some weird calls, went away from the running game with Kyron Williams. But I know Victor had more blame on the offense, but to me, I got to see more from that defense. In this post-Aaron Donald era, you move on to Chris Shula. That defense has been very atrocious. My Cardinals, who stink, the only time they were good was against that terrible Rams defense. So that kind of tells you enough right there. But they don't get game-changing plays. They're kind of bend but don't break, but also very boring. Bad secondary. They actually do break a lot on the secondary. I don't know why I'm saying that. So with Matthew Stafford, it feels like they're asking him to do a lot, similar to Justin Herbert. And when you have Kyron Williams there as a good running back and Sean McVay goes away from him, that's very frustrating. So we'll see what the Rams do here because they are 1-3. They are going to face the Packers next week, which might be a problem. And then you go into a bye week, and if you go 1-4, maybe it's time to start looking in the mirror and say, maybe it's not your year without Aaron Donald here. So they have a lot of problems defensively. They have no Puka Nacua, no Cooper Kupp. Sean McVay can't figure out what to do with this, I guess, kind of patchwork offense. So, they had a nice deal against the 49ers, but I think all the highs from that game came down and really bit them hard in Chicago.
Yeah, no, the only thing I caught was the interception.
The
I
late
didn't
one
really
for Stafford.
The what?
The last one for Stafford, or late one for Stafford.
Yeah. I just saw that the receivers for the Bears. I mean, Caleb threw for 157. I saw Swift finally kind of got going a little bit. It had been a while since.
He even got some receptions too.
Yeah. It seemed like he was kind of getting into it. So definitely interesting. The Kyron Williams, 94 and a touchdown. There was one that Stafford interception. No, there was another one. So do you remember what happened on that play? Like Stafford threw it and they called it an interception at the beginning of the game, and then they ended up calling it back. Did you know why? I didn't know why they called it back.
Yeah, the player stepped out of bounds.
Oh, okay. I just saw it, like I was watching Red Zone and I was talking to Lauren and we were like chit-chatting about like the Pat McAfee show and all these other shows that like all this other stuff. And like I saw it from the corner of my eye, and then I was like, oh wow, Caleb got the ball, and they did not. Could the Rams become sellers if by the trade deadline they? I mean, what do you have to
I
sell?
think if they go 1-4 and they lose to the Packers, and you're in the bye week, and you're probably thinking, and you're looking in the mirror, and you're saying, "Damn, we're not good." This post Aaron Donald era, and then you also don't have a commitment to Matthew Stafford. Maybe you want to start getting some trades and getting some draft picks, and maybe looking at Shador Sanders, your boy right there, or Carson Beck, or Manning is
An
not ready
Eagles
to be
fan
drafted, right?
yesterday.
What?
An Eagles fan yesterday said it. I'm not going to say who, but I was talking to an Eagles fan yesterday, and he said, "I'm over Jalen Hurts. Bring me Shador
Oh.
Sanders."
Man,
We're in.
I know it's not the topic, Grant, but I've seen a lot of conversation about Jalen Hurts. Once he lost Shane Steichen, when he doesn't have AJ Brown, he's a very look nothing there and take off running guy. Speaking of the running backs making a comeback,
and
yeah,
I get they don't have their two
AJ Brown,
weapons, but
Devonta
you should
Smith.
be able. Like Saquon Barkley had 9 touches.
He's been the best player on their team. He is saving them, and but he can't do it alone. He got blown out in Tampa Bay.
Yeah. What was your week 3 takeaway?
Yes, let's move on to our takeaways. And for me, could say when the running back, I thought the Ravens found their offensive identity with Derrick Henry, and I don't want to jump the gun too soon on the Ravens because they were one of my teams that I felt like they were going to have a tough time doing what they did last year. They were 13-4. You lose a lot of pieces, and then you're asking Derrick Henry to come be the hero. But I like how Derrick Henry is now playing freely and within the offense and the flow there. That freaking monster run that he had for 87 yards against the Bills, there was a gaping hole right there. I think the offensive linemen are starting to figure out this Ravens scheme. Shout out to Todd Monken there. So it doesn't feel like the Titans were like, okay, I have formation, jumbo package. Here's the ball predictably to Derrick Henry. Let's hand it off. When there's Jackson and Henry, teams are starting to say, oh, crap, we can't play this too high shell cover 2 down the field because we have to get closer to see what's going on here. Linebackers can't play downhill. They're trying to look where the hell's the ball going. And maybe, it's going to be a little bit of a reaction, but maybe this unique kind of blend of RPOs does work when you have a Henry and Lamar Jackson. But I don't want to get too far ahead. It just got me thinking like, hey, maybe in this game where people are freaking out about the too high shell, that maybe it's okay to have a star running back. When you have a good running back, you punish teams like Derrick Henry did and take one to the house and you score quickly. A lot of these teams like to kind of counter with quick throws, dump balls, running game, go the long game, dominate the time of possession to counter this too high shell. But you definitely reconsider your principles and your game plans when you have a star running back like Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry. They could turn those underneath games into long games. And the Jackson and Henry are averaging I think 9 yards per player against the Bills, against the Cowboys. So it just makes me wonder, maybe the Ravens are once again ahead of the curve. Like, okay, cool, take your too high shell. We know what we saw with Mike McDonald. That trend is long gone. I think it's boring football. If you're still playing a too high shell, we're going to beat you with this kind of style here. So seeing even Josh Jacobs, Fernando, seeing these guys that were probably cost about $10 million per year, maybe it's time to stop thinking, oh, you can't overpay for running backs and actually overpay for the good ones, because they're starting to kind of, make a name for themselves or come back against these defenses that don't know how to adjust or move on. You have Mike McDonald, you have Justin Minter. You're ahead of the curve. You have Wink Martindale, because that scheme's the one that's hot right now. And then the Vic Fangio related, it's not really doing too well.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I feel like that's why running the football has been kind of helping, and that's why I think some teams are going to need to trade or make trades. Carson Steele yesterday, he had 1 fumble, and Andy Reid basically took him out of the game for in the Chiefs game. So
I forgot Kareem Hunt was still playing for the Chiefs or came back to the Chiefs.
Yeah. That was just, I think it was like 2 weeks ago. Mine was the paying of the quarterbacks. They have not lived up to the hype. Jordan Love is 0-2, while Malik Willis is 2-0 with the Green Bay Packers. You go and you look, Trevor Lawrence is 0-9 in his last 9 games. That's crazy. He's 0-4 this season. By the way, I do have something for you in a bit. Jared Goff has not looked the same. He's playing tonight. What are they? 1-2, right? No, they're 2-1.
2-1. They beat the Cardinals and they beat the Rams.
And they lost to the
But he hasn't been good playing wise or performance wise.
You saw what?
he hasn't been good performance.
Yeah, no. He's been playing terribly. Dak Prescott, they're 2-2, but he hasn't looked all that impressive. And then they just lost a couple players. So Tua Tagovailoa, he's not playing. So all these quarterbacks that have just been paid, they're not playing well. And then you have Sam Darnold at
My boy.
almost, exactly. He's making next to nothing, and he's playing well. You have other quarterbacks that are playing good football. Some of them were drafted. That Jaden Daniels, I'm still a little hesitant because I've seen that before, but
you can't just judge the guy because he's playing for the same team.
He looks exactly like RG3.
RG3 was not that accurate, but he was pushing the ball down the field. I get what you're saying.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
That's the one difference I do see.
I've seen that sensation in that same colored jersey before. So
you can't knock the kid because something happened 12 years before him. But yes, it's only 4 games. It's 4 games.
Still very similar. Hell, I'm seeing the same thing. Dan Fouts, Phillip Rivers, and now Justin Herbert. Like the terrible offensive line play, you're seeing it. History is doomed to repeat itself if you don't fix it. So I just think that some of these quarterbacks that are, man, look at Andy Dalton. He just came in and he took over and he's doing really well. So
you made me pick them last week on our pick on.
I know. I was pissed. I shouldn't have done that. Dan's killing it right now. What is he, like 9-2 in the last?
I don't even know what. I probably got like 2 or 3. Right? I can't remember.
But I just think that Dan is right in that sense where he has said everybody scrambles, they get nervous, or like, I don't want to lose this quarterback, and then they give Danny Dimes $40 million, like you correctly predicted back before that happened. But
by the way, Daniel Jones, Blake Neighbors have been better than Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr., and I'm annoyed.
That's crazy. That is truly ridiculous. But yeah, no, it's just been one of those things where you're like, what is going on? But real quick, but yeah, and the thing when it comes to the Michael King is starting tomorrow. Holy smokes. My bad. So obviously, going back to the Falcons, the Jags. Did you see what happened yesterday with what is it, Dougie P?
Yeah, I saw. I actually just wrote about that. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, for people who weren't there, this is what Doug Peterson was asked by the local media. Take a listen to this. This is interesting.
Start worrying about your status.
My status?
Yeah. After knowing 4 stars.
I mean, no. I mean, it's kind of a strange question, but okay.
Gilbert, is it a strange question?
No, but the reporter could have done a better job. Like, what do you mean my status? Like my health status? Like, talking about my did I get my steps in status? Like, what are you talking about here? But it felt like that was the first time he's gotten that question this year, and it's always hard for a reporter to start that conversation. Like, hey, are you feeling a little pressure? Especially kind of early in the season to do it, but 0-4, and then you've lost 9 out of the last 10 games. The last 9 with Trevor Lawrence as a starter. So I think you're gonna show me that clip where he blamed the players and threw them under the bus.
I do have that.
With Press Taylor there, the OC, kind of struggling a little bit, and the reporter was like, "Hey, are you gonna take over play calling duties?" He's like, "Me take over? What are you talking about? The players need to step up. We can't go out there and make plays." So you could tell that the hot seat is getting a little warm when you're trying to defend your coaching staff, defending yourself. But yeah, Fernando, it's not looking good for the Jaguars. I like Doug Peterson, but you're starting to see why he kind of gets stale very quickly after he won that Super Bowl with the Eagles, and people gave the credit to I'm blanking on the former head coach of OC of the Eagles, former Chargers OC as well.
No, are you talking about?
Yeah, the OC for the Eagles at the time they won the Super Bowl. I'm already forgetting his name.
Oh, Shane Steichen. No. Frank Reich.
There you go, Frank Reich. He got the credit for that Super Bowl, and then they canned him, and now it's going to be a pick between Trevor Lawrence or Doug Peterson, and it really feels like they're going to pick Trevor Lawrence, obviously, because they paid the guy.
Yeah,
they probably should have waited, and I'm totally with you in that conversation, Fernando. It's time to stop thinking with this old school mindset. That's what I'm thinking about. You know what? Maybe start paying the running backs a little more. Like, this method of paying quarterbacks and having heavy passing attacks is just outdated now. Like it's time to face the reality here. And all these quarterbacks you mentioned, like I wouldn't pay that. I'd rather have Baker Mayfield making $30 million. That's half
Yeah.
of the money that some of these guys are making.
Yeah.
Even like a guy like Sam Darnold now, he's gonna make more money next year, but he's gonna be $30 million, and that's still better than whatever these guys are making. So it's a good conversation. I think Trevor Lawrence might be him being there would be a good location for a coach to go coach the Jaguars because it's Trevor Lawrence. But somebody needs to really watch the tape and say, can you fix that guy? Because he's not making Peterson look good, but they're not helping him there at all. One note on the Jaguars: Brian Thomas Jr. looks pretty legit. Fernando,
it's incredible. I've seen some of the tape on Lawrence, and he just like overthrows. Guys are open. He just looks completely different from the guy that faced the Chargers a couple years ago in the wild card and took the Chiefs
ever since that
almost to the
game.
end. Yeah, no. He really has fallen down. So good come from behind win by the Texans, but the Jaguars should have had that one. They should have won the game, and they should be 1-3 right now. But unfortunately, they have that 9-game losing streak. They were 8-3, and then they lost that game to the kid from the Bengals, not Burrow,
Jake Browning.
Yeah, Jake Browning, and then it went all downhill from there, and they haven't been able to recover. So it's definitely been crazy. But I'm sure people are going to say that it's the Brandon Staley thing. So it's definitely interesting.
I say
Gilbert,
he gets one more month though, just to answer the question.
really?
I think it's a little too soon because, like you mentioned, it was 8-3 not too long ago. So maybe we'll get to that point again where like you get it 10 games or 11, and like, okay, you're out of here. You didn't do crap.
Interesting. Gilbert, did you see this quote?
Oh yeah.
Dial back a little bit. Is that something you think could potentially help the situation?
It's one way to do it. The other way is hold them accountable. I mean, we haven't had an issue. We've had one false start. Morgan had one false start, I believe, until this. So, it's been a weapon. We use it every day in practice. We don't, we rarely have a false start. And to have, 5 today, it seemed like 4 or 5. Yeah, it seems like an outlier. I don't know if we need to make mass changes based on, kind of an outlier game.
This dude's funny.
Yeah, I like, speaking of status, I like that Rodgers knows his status. He's always going to play up to it. He can say whatever the hell he wants there in New York. He go to Egypt whenever he wants, and nobody should bat an eye. But yeah, like sometimes it is, hold the players accountable. Like he's the only one who could get away with that. I feel like he's done a lot of things in this league. How about Tom Brady calling out Baker Mayfield for saying,
That was
"What do you mean
funny as
stressed?
hell.
Not having a Super Bowl stressful. Get the hell out of here." So guys like that could talk like that, and maybe I shouldn't say belittle, but like I guess put your coach on the spot for saying, "Hey, hold your guys accountable, not me. I'm a freaking 4-time MVP, Super Bowl champion." But yeah, Fernando, going off of the Jets and the Broncos, I know it's more you want more Jets takeaways, but that's a damn good defense Denver has there. And again, going back to good coaches and scheming it up, Vance Joseph is doing a fantastic job. And a year ago, I don't know, maybe a year ago, 2 weeks ago, they got beat down 70-20 by those fraud Dolphins, by the way. And he just done a great job. Even last year, you could see the signs there. And Patrick Surtain finally has a lot of help. The white cornerback, Riley Moss, he actually impressed me against the Jets there, making some good plays. They have some feisty safeties. I can't name a lot of the players on the defensive front, but they're making it work with Vance Joseph there. So that could be one of the top 5 units in the NFL. Obviously, they need a lot more help offensively. They could, they could win 6 or 7 games. Like I was talking to you and Adam, and I felt, okay, I think they're actually better, but they're not going to be a playoff team, obviously. But the Jets, they just ran into a good defense, but they got to figure out a way how to get Garrett Wilson involved. Patrick Surtain took him away, and when he was going to Mike Williams, Lazard, he was struggling. He had a couple overthrows there, and then the running game, Breece Hall, man, I think it was 10 carries for 4 yards. That's the defense right there. So I'm not going to press the panic button a little too early on the Jets. They look great against the Patriots, but that was a damn good defense. And if you play that kind of defense on Rodgers with a lot of pressure on the old man there, it could definitely be a long day.
Yeah, no, yeah. You get pressure on him, and he's going to be scrambling around, and he's still not comfortable. I mean, in Green Bay, he was there for 15 years, so he knew exactly day in and day out. He knew the guys. Here, he's still figuring it out. It is his first year with these guys, so he's still trying to figure them out, how they all play. So, I do think there is beef between Salah and Rodgers.
Yeah, you
So
didn't
I'm
buy the
not
whole story about the hugging and the shoving.
no, no. Well, I mean, no, I can't. I can't buy that. Like, I feel like there is beef. He probably thinks that Salah's a better defensive corner. But then again, if you trusted Rodgers, he'd probably make what's his ass his head coach, his
Oh, Nathaniel
offensive
Hackett.
coordinator. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Nathaniel Hackett has no
Yeah.
business being a
He's
head
gonna try to
coach.
be a GM one day. Watch Aaron Rodgers.
No, I don't think. I think he's gonna get away from the NFL, and I feel like
You
he's
won't be
gonna,
like John Elway, you think? Just try to
no,
do it on his
he'll
own.
like run for president or do something like that. He ain't gonna do
Yeah.
anything with that. But
By the way, I couldn't believe what Roger said, which I maybe I should when he was on ESPN Airways. But the whole they're gonna hate you for 1 week and then they're gonna bleep you off for another week. And I'm like, he really said that on ESPN.
when he said that on the McAfee show?
Yeah, he said that on Pat McAfee show, and they were like, "You just said that?" Like, even they were kind of worried, like, "Oh crap, you said that on." Unless it's like another like broadcast where it's not.
Was it on
ESPN.
Tuesday? Last Tuesday?
Yeah, where he said,
Oh,
"Yeah,
damn, I didn't watch last
He
Tuesday.
said, I predicted we'll be 2-1. I said after the 49ers loss, they're gonna hate us and they're gonna win 2 in a row and they're gonna, something
Wow.
to our stuff." But yeah,
I love it. Real quick, just last thing. Did you hear? We should be doing this. I'll just have sound bites for you, and you can we can talk about them. Nick Sirianni about why Saquon Barkley only got 2 carries in the first 3 possessions.
Yeah, we had 9 plays.
well, I guess it's
third downs. So now, he had 2 carries on 6 plays. I mean, when you go 3 and out, that no one's going to have any touches. Nobody's going to have any catches. We weren't sustaining drives. That's another, we can say what about the defense, but we weren't sustaining drives on offense. And so they were on the field a lot early on and a lot of plays. But I think if you see the flow of the game, you understand why that happened. But I mean, obviously we want him to get the touches of the ball, but when you don't sustain drives, then you're not going to be able to.
He's not going to be able to, Gilbert.
Yeah. I want to start believing on the Eagles, but I think what you brought up early on the Jalen Hurts factor, he hasn't looked right since Shane Steichen left, and you have a couple injuries and it doesn't go well, and now it's kind of like, well, thank God Saquon Barkley is here to save us, but he also can't do everything himself. So next around it could be another guy, could be on the hot seat, but I don't want to overreact because they had a nice win in New Orleans.
They won't fire him during the season.
Yeah, probably not. It could, definitely you see guys out there. We'll see how the coaching pool looks, but you
fire him during the season. It would be Will Levis just threw a pick.
Really? I was just turning the channel on there.
Fire him during the season would be Trevor Lawrence, Doug Peterson. Do you have another one? Mike McCarthy. I think big old Mike McCarthy could be fired.
He could be. I can see that. But I think Jones is very patient, though, which to his fault. I guess Peterson be the first one. Obviously, the other 0-3 team right now is the Titans and Brian Callahan. He just got there, so I'm not sure.
They're not firing him.
But there's always a surprise one. It usually comes around Halloween time. So in the next month, we're really going to find out which teams are going to be terrible. But yeah, I think
no, nobody will hire Bill Belichick in season. No. I'd be really surprised.
By the way, there's a lot of connections though with Bill Belichick and the Jacksonville Jaguars. I guess he's very close with the Khan family there. So yeah, imagine having to deal with our boy Tony Khan,
friend of the show. AEW and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Just I ain't gonna say more. All right, we appreciate you guys so much for checking out another episode of Lunes Live. We will be back next week on Lunes Live. So Gilbert, just to put it out there, I will not be a part of Compas for a little bit. Their Padres are, I will be covering the Padres playoff run, so I will not be. I'll jump on and do Lunes Live if there's no Padres game that day. But yeah, I'll be kind of in and out the next couple of weeks. just as looks like Kellen Moore isn't a wonder kid. So just covering the Padres. So as long as they go, I'll be there. So so yeah, just gonna be a little bit of mixing and matching. It'll be Gilbert, Vic, and Dan. The good thing is the Chargers are on a bye week, so I'll have a little bit of time to kind of do this and not have to worry about the other stuff. But yeah, I'll be out for a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see if we'll put the pieces together and try to make it work without you and survive here. We'll be like Jalen Hurts trying to make it work without AJ and Brown and Devontae Smith. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy baseball, Fernando. I don't like covering baseball because you really can't write until after the 7th inning, and those innings take forever.
Especially with the Padres.
Yeah, but hopefully the pitch clock works in your favor. I don't know crap about baseball, but
there was a game. It was an hour and 50 minutes that I covered a couple weeks ago against the Astros. That was beautiful. Let's just keep that going. 1 hour and 50 minutes. Let's just keep on that going.
Do that for the entire baseball.
Appreciate you, Angel.
I'll be watching some baseball here and there. So if you hear some analysis from me on the show throughout the next few weeks, enjoy it. Baseball talk.
All right, Gilbert. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, let's get out of here. Fernando has to worry about baseball. I gotta watch Will Levis and Snoop Huntley. Okay, I feel better. It's not Skylar Thompson, but Monday Night Football here, and then later on the Seahawks. Your Seahawks against the Detroit Lions. But
9th turnover of the year.
We'll give you an ETA or an update of when we'll be back on while Fernando deals with the Padres. But on that note, ya nos vamos, pues, vámonos.